Sylvia Chambers, your host for Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're coming to you from Mandy Villa, a villa snugged neatly into the seaside village of Mount Irving right here in Tobago. It's the embodiment of charm and a perfect stop-in while we update you on some of the major events and stories happening right here in Tobago. All you have to do as usual is grab a snack, sit back and relax as we bring you the sights and sounds of the island along with the latest details. So we're about to get started with this week's headlines. Tobago is back at the World Travel Market with a bang. The island is ready for business and making up for time lost during the pandemic. We also hit the trail, the Man and the Biosphere Art Trail in Northeast Tobago, that is, as more art is commissioned to bring awareness to the importance of protecting the environment. A special ceremony returns to help parents who have experienced the loss of an infant begin to heal. And later, we hear from a Tobago-born and bred author who shares her COVID experience to the benefit of children. We have all these stories and more for you when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. In our first story, we leave the comfort of this lovely villa for just a few minutes to take you to London, the Excel Exhibition Centre to be exact, for the 43rd edition of the World Travel Market. Over 51,000 participants and more than 5,000 exhibitors from 182 countries and regions, including Tobago, turned up to reconnect, rebuild and innovate after the impact of COVID. We'll tell you what Tobago has to offer in this story. Have a look. Love affair, an intense enthusiasm or liking for something. Tobago, the capital of paradise. Put the two together and we understand your love affair for our 116 square miles of untouched beauty. That is Tobago. And according to Chief Secretary Fali Augustine, every love affair needs to be infused with freshness to keep the romance alive. And that's exactly what's being done by Team Tobago at World Travel Market 2022.
Currently in Tobago, construction has started on a new airport terminal. And when that terminal is completed, it will be one of the largest within the Caribbean region and will be able to facilitate all of you and tons more. You heard about all of the new airlift arrangements that we are currently planning and we are preparing for you. Secondly, we can finally announce that the Manta Lodge Hotel that you have heard about from about 5 years ago is finally ready for delivery.
Honorable Augustine says more sweets can only make the Tobago love affair sweeter. But what's being created is a product that's superior to anywhere in the world.
We have development starting. The build project has started for the Elephant Tree Resort that's happening up in Tobago East, just downstream of the Argyle Waterfall, sandwiched between two rivers and the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. Construction has begun there. I can also tell you that a new 5-star hotel, I'm not at liberty to give the name, but they are about to start construction in June 2023 at the Kilgwin Bay area.
And there are also exciting new pillars on which the Tobago offering is being rebuilt upon, which include exponential and event tourism.
We're excited to welcome our Tobago Jazz Experience once again next year in 2023, and we'll be excited to announce our headliners very soon as we are finished with World Travel Market. So that I want you to remember that you have to tell a friend about Tobago.
The Tourism Secretary says Tobago is also unearthing the treasures of the island, which will take visitors on a journey of rediscovery. She says our cocoa industry is also being revitalized. You see, Tobago love.
And we look forward to see you in Tobago sometime, anytime. Just jump on a flight and get there anyhow you can.
Now at this time we head northeast Tobago. This is where art and environmental awareness meet on the island. People are now enjoying the splendor and the talent generated on the Man and the Biosphere Art Trail in villages across the island's Man and the Biosphere Reserve. Omadara Mills tells us what's behind this initiative in this next story. Take a look.
Large printed artworks by various Tobago-based artists are now added attractions throughout communities in northeast Tobago. The area has been a UNESCO Man Under the Biosphere Reserve since 2020. Following the launch of the art trail in Bell Garden some weeks ago, other printed pieces were recently unveiled to the public. They are now displayed in the northeast communities of Roxborough, Betsy's Hope, Delaford, Speyside, Charlotteville, Lance for Me, Bloody Bay, and Palotovere. The Art Trail initiative was spearheaded by the Environmental Research Institute of Charlotteville, ERIC, with support from other organizations like the Tobago House of Assembly. Many believe it's a great opportunity for the creative sector.
The artists and the work that they produce is an essential element of that rich culture that we have in Northeast Tobago. So I think it's quite appropriate that we give the artists the kind of exposure and so on, right, that will help them to generate sustainable benefits and so on in the context of this Man the Biosphere program.
It's a good way to use up my time and a good way to learn how to paint.
I feel proud of him. And I think it's a good initiative, especially for young artists.
I find it is a very, very good gesture to have this kind of trail on the island. You know, it will inspire the upcoming artists, you know, to drive around the communities and see paintings. You know, that will give them that encouragement to pursue their dream.
It's indeed a pleasure to be selected for this, art trail, because it's a way of, expressing yourself as an artist, and as well as, bridging that gap between understanding the importance of the environment and the role that it has to play within society.
The 5 paintings in Palotovere are part of the art trail. They were commissioned by the Palotovere Village Council thanks to a grant the organization received from the UNDP. Eric was at the consulting agency on the project. They were done by Lance for Me-based artist Jason Ned.
I really love painting, and I am glad to be a part of this initiative. It gives a lot of influence to the other young people in the community, right? As the work was being done, we have a lot of the youths coming forward asking and wanting to be a part. So I hope that it serves as an influence to the other young people also in the community.
I think it fosters a sense of pride in who we are and what we do, right? The things that we think of as mundane and everyday. It's an opportunity to actually see yourself basically from another perspective, from an external perspective.
The unveiling of the art pieces coincided with the celebration of the inaugural International Day for Biosphere Reserves. In addition to the artworks in various northeastern communities, land and marine-based sculptures like the one done by artist Tommy Roberts are part of the plan for this art trail experience. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
From art to culture, we take a moment to look back at Tobago's first solo carnival, which was crime and incident-free. That's just one of the pros coming out of the inaugural event. Here are some of the highlights of the festival in this update from Tourism Secretary Councillor Tashia Burris.
A movie, a dream lit. Those are some words used by many to describe Tobago's inaugural carnival after the curtains came down at the end of October. And the Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Councillor Tashia Burris, says it was a labor of love which was successfully executed in just about 8 months.
One of the things that we put out in the space recently was the projected cost, or what the THA was planning to spend for this carnival. And I'm pleased to report that the THA would not incur the 17.5 million that we had initially anticipated that we would spend for this carnival. One of the main reasons for that is that there were some elements of the budget that we weren't able to execute this year. So that is where the cost savings, a lot of cost savings would be realized.
Councillor Burris says the bulk of the carnival spend was done through the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited and the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited. She adds that marketing was a critical component to the success of the event. And what about feedback?
The reviews that I've heard from our visitors who played mass with our mass bands in Tobago, some of them have indicated it's the best mass experience they've ever had. And in our first year, I think that is a huge compliment to have when you talk about persons who came to Tobago who would normally play mass in Trinidad or play mass in Miami or play mass in Notting Hill or Caribana or Labor Day, these larger carnivals across the world, to come to Tobago and talk about the fact that they were embraced from day one by the mass band. So that means the customer service was on point.
The Tourism Secretary says Carnival is a serious economic activity that each Tobagonian has the opportunity to own and become a part of.
One of the things that was very telling for me was finding out that on average, an international visitor to Tobago spends at least 11,000 TT dollars, and that is per visitor. So when you look at what could possibly be the numbers for a Tobago carnival that may have welcomed in the region of about 30,000 visitors over that period, you're talking about, even if you take very basic numbers and say that everybody spent $3,000, let's just use $3,000 as an example. If you extrapolate $3,000 multiplied by 30,000 visitors, you're talking about $90 million. And that is very, very basic.
Post-mortem sessions will be hosted to reveal any shortcomings from Tobago's first solo carnival.
Coming up next, we've got highlights from a very special ceremony held to support families who've experienced the loss of an infant. We'll tell you more about it right after this break. Stay with us. Mandy Villa has got the word charm written all over it. It features 5 bedrooms along with 6.5 bathrooms. 2 wings on the upper floor contain 2 bedrooms each, and the 5th is located on the ground floor. It also sports a large games room with a full-size pool table and a table tennis board, as well as an air-conditioned gym to keep you active. And when you're ready for the outdoors, the landscaped garden leads right to the neighboring Mount Irvin Golf Course. Of course, Mandy Villa has all the amenities and safety features to make your experience here a very memorable one. The loss of a baby or infant can be a harrowing experience. On the island, there's an organization doing all it can to help those who experience loss and to sensitize the public about the importance of dealing with this trauma. Umudara Mills tells us about the organization's activities during Baby and Infant Loss Awareness Month in this next story. Listen up.
Sherlan McPherson Jr., twins Sarah and Sarai, King David Potts, Angel Johnson, Ezekiel Lyons, Jason Melville, and Sapphire Faith. These are a few of the babies and infants gone but not forgotten. They and many others were remembered at this year's International Wave of Light ceremony held by the Zafiri Foundation at Scarborough General Hospital. It's the 3rd year the foundation is publicly raising awareness about the trauma Tobago families face after losing a child. Supporters at the ceremony say there's much need for this event.
You know, it makes you aware of what is happening out there, and that there are people out there, you know, that who needs such awareness to bring us to that place of understanding that there is hurt and pain out there, and we need to come together to support, you know, such people.
I think what Zafiri Foundation is doing
is really important for moms and dads, siblings, relatives, because I really believe we are always dealing with traumatic situations, especially infant loss. Groups for it. I really hope that it can grow even larger, throughout the both islands and even regionally, so that we can bring more awareness and sensitivity to it.
The Wave of Light ceremony started 20 years ago in the UK and the US. This year's candle lighting activity was done under the theme Stepping Stones. Makeda Grace started a Zafiri Foundation after losing her unborn several years ago. She says support groups like hers are vital to many.
You can't just get up a morning and lose a baby and expect to go back to normal reality tomorrow. No, it takes baby steps. Hence the reason why the theme for this year in pregnancy loss is stepping stones. So each step that you take, you know that you're not alone in this journey, and it gives them an avenue to know that they're not alone, and that by sharing and hearing different stories, they could use information from different persons as to how they would have coped after the loss.
The foundation facilitated an online session with a psychologist for its members. It provided the counseling they need to begin to heal. An awareness walk from Shore Park Complex to the Scarborough General Hospital also helped to sensitize the public about pregnancy and infant loss. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Nicole Thomas, the 2022 Tuco Tobago Carnival Calypso Monarch, is proud to celebrate her successful defense of the title. Today, she's sharing her experience as the competition returned following a hiatus, of course, due to COVID-19. She has plans to help grow the art form. Josanne Brassi tells us more.
Tuco Tobago Calypso Monarch Nicole Thomas is thrilled after recently winning the title. She says her aim was to be relevant and to captivate her audience.
I wanted to do a calypso that was timely and would really captivate the audience. So I spoke to my writer and we came up with Carnival is We. Carnival is We is a composition that really tells of the authenticity of Carnival, where it originated, how our ancestors, how we need to pay homage to our ancestors for how they molded our culture.
Nicole says her focus was on depicting the true meaning of Carnival to the people of Tobago. She wanted to ensure her vision for the song unfolded. For her, winning was just the icing on her cake. This win, she says, was special.
The whole response, I felt as though I won the Miss Universe. I've been in interviews back to back. I don't know if it's because of the timing of the song, but I'm getting a lot of great response and compliments. So I want to say thank you to Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago on the whole.
Nicole has also won the Tobago Windward Calypso Monarch title 11 times, and she's an 8-time semi-finalist in the National Calypso Monarch competition. She's got advice for Tobago's emerging calypso talent.
Going out and performing and doing your best, that is all we can ask for. Don't study the prize money. Study about contributing to the art form and developing yourself.
Nicole is also urging Tobagonians to support their culture. She believes the industry will only grow and improve when persons participate and add value. She also wants to see more done to assist the island's talent.
I think greater collaboration with Tuco and culture and all the stakeholders to really understand what it takes to prepare for a competition, what is really needed as, let's say, the cash prize, what's needed to help the artists develop in terms of recording and putting their songs out there so that they wouldn't even stay in the Tobago space, that they would go further to Trinidad and we could travel.
Nicole says she's now recognized a lot more everywhere she goes. She's now a 6-time Tobago Calypso Monarch after successfully defending her 2020 title. With her 2022 triumph, she also marks 19 years as a Calypso competitor. I'm Josanne Brassi for Let's Talk Tobago.
Eliminating domestic violence and abuse has always been the mission of the NGO Women of Substance. This time around, the organization focused on empowering girls from Tobago's secondary schools in recognition of International Day of the Girl, the Child, and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We have highlights from the opening day as well as feedback from some of the young participants from Amadara Mills.
It is our first girls symposium and it's going to be an annual event. We do the boys symposiums where we go to the schools, so we intend to engage the schools and the students more, because the important thing is creating the awareness, so persons know, our young people know what domestic violence and abuse is and what the red flags are and what can be done if they find themselves in a situation. We want girls to speak out. A lot of them are on social media, and we want them to also speak out boldly and bravely on those platforms. We want girls to speak out against domestic violence and abuse. We want them to use their voices basically. We are so used to hearing little girls must be heard, seen and not heard. We want to change that narrative. We want to encourage the girls to speak, use their God-given voices.
I like the fact that it was generation friendly and that they made it so that even the younger ones within the mix were able to interact and get different experiences and learn different things throughout the event itself.
I found this event was informative. It raised awareness to girls and showed us we need to be perfect in our own way. We are melanin queens and we deserve to be treated right.
I liked how all the ladies who were a victim of domestic violence, I like how they were brave enough to speak about their experience.
Yes, I think you all should have more sessions like these because it's very informative for young ladies to learn. All of them had a motivating aspect in it. My favorite one was Miss Universe, and how she did it and stuff.
I came here as a presenter, but I felt so empowered through all the different panelists, the words of inspiration, a reminder that we do have voices and we need to occupy these spaces. I think these platforms need to be invested in more because it's where the site or the ground for where young women are going to be able to flourish and grow and nurture their God-given potentials.
I think it was very relevant, timely, and a fantastic way of transmitting not only information but values, and that these young women can take to help them to build their lives and their future.
We have to take another break, but do not go away. Let's Talk Tobago. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Oh, Tobago, son of the soil. My name is Duvon Stewart, and you're watching Let's Talk Tobago.
Hi, I'm Kirsten. My name is Onika. I'm Kamara Lani. I am Catherine. My name is Shadi. And we're watching Let's Talk Tobago.
The impact of COVID-19 is still being felt. Some people have looked for lessons and opportunities brought by the pandemic, including one Tobago-born attorney whose challenges inspired her to become a children's author. Here's more.
She watched her 4-year-old son struggle with limited face-to-face interaction during the pandemic. This experience propelled Iana Del Darlington Jordan Benjamin to become author of the book I Am Well. She says a lack of communication between parent and child can result in mental health issues. In extreme cases, it can even lead to suicide. Iana says proper parent-to-child communication is critical to the well-being of children. Writing this book is her way of contributing to the improvement of parent-child relationships in the 21st century.
it's a mental health book. And again, because of COVID and the lack of social interactions that I saw in my own experience with my family, especially for young kids, I saw that there was that need to inspire them through words, right? And then also when they are healthy, their interactions with other kids will be healthy, and therefore that would impact our world eventually.
Iana says once children are mentally fit, they will inspire others to produce a ripple effect that will strengthen social interactions and inspire other kids to do well. Her book was officially published on August 1st, 2022. It's now available online on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles and at Trinidad and Tobago booksellers.
I am going to do a book tour in the United States, where we're originally based. And of course, because of my connections to Trinidad and Tobago, specifically Tobago, I absolutely want to do a book tour in Tobago as well. And of course, introduce it. I want to also donate a few copies to our Scarborough Library.
Iana says she credits her illustrator Jeannie Joni for the beautiful design of her book cover. The author says she didn't realize how demanding the publishing world is. She says the experience showed her that there's a lot more to becoming an author than just putting pen to paper.
I was writing mantras for my son. His name is Channing. And I was like, you know what? I can actually codify this and put it in book form so he can have it and he can read it on his own when he's older, right? But then I was like, okay, let me look into getting it published, right? And then it went down this whole rabbit hole of, oh, you need ISBN numbers and you need to try to get it onto Amazon and try to get it onto Barnes & Noble, or you can actually go through Random House or one of those large publishers, but then they can reject a manuscript and the length of time for them to read and edit a manuscript. So it was a whole process that I had no awareness about.
Iana is urging aspiring authors to make Google their best friend. She says proper research will provide all the information you need to become self-published. She says it took her 10 years to get this first book published. Iana believes you can do it too. Her advice is just start writing, get a manuscript, and from there the sky's the limit. I'm Josanne Brassi for Let's Talk Tobago.
So we've come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more on today's location, Mandy Villa, you can contact the Villa's manager at 786-8731. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and fantastic week. As we go, we leave you with a montage of Tobago's visit to World Travel Market 2022.
States. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to you, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Those of you in the Caribbean and those of you viewing us on the live, good Monday morning going out to you. Julian, how are you doing today?
Quite good, Ria. It's Monday morning. It's the start of a new week. It's been a very eventful kind of weekend.
And not good eventful, not at all.
Not good eventful. So, in terms of definitely the situations happening both in the Scarborough space as well as in Likato, it really puts us to wonder what is happening in our sweet, sweet island Tobago, Ria.
Definitely. We saw Saturday where 2 shootings took place within hours apart, of each other, and you're looking at the loss of one life and serious injury to the other.
Yeah, so it's really been an interesting period, and amidst that we've also had a number of, on the flip side, a number of positive activities taking place over the course of the weekend. Let me say kudos going out to the Eastern Credit Union. Ria, I was on the run/walk. And yes, that definition gives an indication of what I did from Storby to Dwight. I almost said to the Dwight York Stadium. Those are aspirations from Storby to the mall facility there, the Lowlands Mall. I am happy to say that I did not need to take transportation along the way. I ran, I walked to make it to the finish line. And I also saw Candice in the mix, And when you see Candice, not very often. Candice is always full of energy, but at the end of that walk, she definitely. She definitely. Us all. Yeah.
I saw some persons via social media who were at the walk, but it seemed as though they did not cater to very many persons. Is it that?
I think it were quite a number. Of
did they underestimate the turnout? Because I think with regards to registration, some persons indicated that they tried registering but were told that
my understanding as far as our arrangements were to have registration done in advance. So I don't know if there was probably an expectation that there would be much more happening on site, on the day itself. But as for the turnout and so on, just as a reminder to persons, the walk would have, of course, been in terms of gauging that wider awareness in relation to diabetes. And further to that, there was an entire health fair at the Lowlands Mall, and kudos also to my Rotary organization that would have also been involved in terms of supporting this initiative. Rotary and Interact Southwest Tobago coming out in support of the initiative that took place over the course of the weekend, hosted by Eastern Credit Union. All right, where there's so much more that has been happening, but we chat about that after. We head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Ria. I am Candice Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 14th November 2022. Chairman of the Tobago Business Chamber, Attorney Martin George, expressed concerns about Tobago recording its 10th murder over the weekend. SRP Kyle Lashley was killed in a drive-by shooting in Providence Road on Saturday night. In a separate incident, a man was shot in Scarborough and remains hospitalized. George called on the Commissioner of Police to focus intense action in Tobago to make it a safe zone in the country. He said the flow and supply of illegal guns and drugs must be stopped. He urged authorities to install vehicle scanners at the seaports to detect guns coming into the island by ferry. Meanwhile, Commissioner of Police McDonald Jacob issued a press release saying that the TDPS will use all available resources to find SRP Kyle Lashley's murderer. Jacob said an interagency task force and Defense Force personnel are in Tobago to help arrest the perpetrators in the shortest possible time. According to reports, Lashley, who worked at the Crown Point police station, was in the company of friends around 7:10 p.m. at Providence Road when a black Kia Cerato stopped alongside them and 2 armed men exited. One of the men took Lashley's gold chain and fired several shots at him. The men then entered the vehicle, which sped off. And now Opush West MP Devendranath Tanku described Trinidad and Tobago as the Wild Wild West after at least 5 murders were recorded over the weekend, including the SRP officer from Tobago. He wondered what it would take for the government to admit its slumber and take meaningful action against crime and violence. He said many citizens are living in fear, while some are considering migrating to protect their families and their livelihoods. And that was the news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Julian and Ria.
Thank you there,
Thank you
Candace.
very much, Candace. All right, Rian, you know, we listen to the news in terms of crime, and I always get a little concerned. In fact, let me don't even downplay it. I get very concerned when there are efforts to politicize the issue of crime, because I am yet to see, probably didn't happen in my lifetime, because I'm still quite young, but I'm yet to see a government being able to have a grip and a certain level of control on crime. Further to that, and even if they have segments of it by way of the efficiency and effectiveness of officers within the system for an extended period, and yet the first response from the other end, I want to hear responses that says, you know, this is information that I have, take it forward to the, you know, in terms of the relevant authorities. I want to hear that we are working together to ensure that we secure a safer Trinidad and Tobago, and not just an indication that, all right, it appears to be the wild, wild west and the government has lost control, because even if the government gives up today and hands over to you, it will be, I mean, it was the same khaki pants.
And I hear what it is you're saying here, Julian, and it begs the question, who is really guarding the guards? You start thinking about those in authority who are in place to make a difference. What is happening? Why is there no difference? This particular situation or scenario with regards to the shooting of PC Kyle Ashley, this was done in the open. This was not done in secret. You know, there were persons around. Why is it that at this point, this is 2 days later, over more than 24 hours later, why have we not heard anything more about it? This was done within open. People saw.
Yes, very, very, very interesting at that. And, you know, it comes back to that level of responsibility. It comes back to that personal level. As a community, do we feel safe and comfortable enough to report what we have seen without the fear of also being affected or impacted, or my family or my household being affected or impacted down the road? And that's one of the things that the TTPS has to continue to work on in terms of building that level of trust and building that level of confidence to have that return in the context of the police service. All right, viewers, at this point we head on into our birthday celebrations this morning, on this Monday morning, Monday the 14th of November. And we start off with a birthday that one cannot miss at all. Our social media influencer. She's out there on the outside. Let's hear it for Tennille Jack. Wishing you a happy, happy birthday, Tennille Jack, and God's continued blessings. We trust that you enjoy the birthday celebrations, Tennille, better known as Tintin.
That's right. All right, and we've got Onella Wilson celebrating her birthday. Onella, love going out to you this morning. Trust that you have a great one. Love to you from the Tobago Updates family.
Happy birthday, Onella. And this is a birthday shout out going out to Kavi Jack. We want to wish you God's continued blessings and happy birthday coming out from the entire Tobago Updates family, Kavi Jack.
At the risk of tipping my age, I was Kavi's preschool teacher many years ago. Kavi, love going out to you from my family.
All right. Well, Kavi indeed looks like a youngster there, Ria, so you're still safe. All right. And we also want to send a birthday shout out celebrating over the weekend, Avenel Gray. All right. Want to wish you a happy, happy birthday.
Love going out to you.
Avenel Gray. We trust that you continue to have an enjoyable celebration and God's continued blessings in this year.
Oh, a good man indeed.
All right. Senator Lawrence Hislop, Ria.
Yes.
celebrated his birthday yesterday. And at that, he celebrated his birthday in working mode yesterday, Ria. As you know, he would have participated images there in relation to the Remembrance Day parade and the activities that took place yesterday. And further to that, I passed through Skip to Malou happened yesterday in Montgomery as well. Kudos to the SDA community, Pastor Richard Frederick and the entire team. And he was also there hosting the event. Senator Lawrence Hislop in the mix. Really a birthday of service.
That's right, and that's the kind of man that he is.
All right, on screen with us, and this is actually, some know him as Happy, some know him as Gilbert O'Connor, and if you're in my circles, I know him as Uncle Gilbert. All right, so we want to wish Gilbert Happy O'Connor. Uncle Gilbert wishing you a happy, happy birthday, and God's continued blessings would have also been in the celebration over this weekend. And
this is a special one. This is Rosalind, if I'm not mistaken, Richardson Wood. That's right. We've got to put that Richardson in. Rosalind Richardson Wood. A happy birthday going out to you this morning from the entire Tobago Updates family.
Yes, wishing you a happy, happy birthday. All right, we got on screen with us Lyndon Downtown Fitness Bacchus. All right, and I see Candace's eyes open. She probably missed a few gym days. Lyndon Downtown Fitness Bacchus, wishing you a happy, happy birthday. Going out to you, Lyndon, and God's continued blessings. He keeps a lot of persons in check, especially with their commitment and dedication to fitness. You know, and we really want to say thank you and wishing you a happy birthday. And in fact, I think he started his birthday this morning at the gym. supporting those persons who are part of Downtown Fitness.
We probably need to visit him someday soon.
Certainly. But that's a good visit for Candace. You know, those outdoor Candace likes those. She'll get on one of those machines and show us a thing or two. Or probably even Uriah. I'll stay in studio.
That's right. It's a level you take yourself out of it. But we also have some footage there of some activities taking place in the Speyside area, and this would have been the Speyside Village Council and community that have their village cleanup. The village cleanup was headed by the village council, so they'd like to do some highlights this morning, and you can see them working there. Persons all in the drains working there to clean up the Speyside area, and the footage is courtesy the president, Pastor Rolex Johnson. All right, and we see some great things happening there. So kudos to you this morning, Speyside, the community of Speyside really taking a stance, taking the lead in cleaning up. And this is well before, you know, the Christmas season per se. You know, it should be happening year round, but not only at the end of the year. But kudos this morning to you, Speyside.
All right, kudos indeed, and shout outs to you this morning. Ria, who do we have on the rundown this morning?
Well, Julian Skeet, we kick things off this morning by chatting with Dr. Adelia Bovell Benjamin. And this lady I've known for a number of years. And we should chat, we'll talk with her a little bit more on her family's background and what it is they've been doing throughout Tobago. But this morning she's focused on the World Diabetes Day 2022 and diabetes care and prevention. And she's also the director of the Bovell Cancer and Diabetes Foundation.
All right. And this morning we'll also be chatting with Rodel Kirk, a superintendent of the TTPS, and certainly giving us some updates on what's been happening here in the Tobago space and looking at the greater responsibility when it comes to reporting crime. So we'll have some follow-up discussions on that. And who do we wrap with this morning, right?
And then we wrap things off as one of our biggest supporters and friends out in Jamaica. We've got Julian Rogers, veteran broadcaster, who's going to be on the program with us, and we're going to talk about a Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda link up.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to that.
Big things happening there
with the big boys.
Mix. And yes, Ria, I got to say this morning in terms of the combination, you know, top and a blazer this morning, folks. Courtesy Checkpoint. Remember to check Checkpoint. That's Checkpoint located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough. Contact them at 639-5148. Checkpoint 639-5148.
All right. So we head on over.
Yes, so we want to thank you very much, those of you continuing to support and tuning in to us via TV, those connecting with us via radio, listening in, and those of you online. Yes, I see you out there. Joan Phillips, Pierre, Julia Brown, Pearl, Murray Beard, Lisa James, Kuki Melville, the entire lineup. This is your opportunity, folks, to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people girl was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell me, anything could be yours.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Whole Life helps me secure their future, provides financial protection with added benefits. Whole Life, the affordable financial benefits plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place.
Viewers, welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates morning show. Just before we head on into our next interview, we want to take the opportunity this morning to extend condolences once again to the family and friends of Christopher Edgar Samuel Lyons, who passed away just about a week or so ago. The funeral service will be taking place today at the Cinnamon Hill Wesleyan Holiness Church from 11 a.m. and then over to the Bacalet Public Cemetery. Viewing will be 1 hour before the ceremony, which should be around 10 o'clock this morning. Viewing should be at 10 o'clock. So again, condolences this morning from my family and all of us here at Tobago Updates. Well, viewers, we're going to switch gears as we chat this morning with Dr. Adelia Bovell Benjamin. She is the director of the Bovell Cancer and Diabetes Foundation. And this morning our focus is on World Diabetes Day 2022 and diabetes care and prevention. Dr. Bovell Benjamin, it's good to see you. It's good to have you on set with us here at Tobago Updates. How have you been?
Thank you very much, Ria, for having us. Thank you again. We have been good. We have been working. We have been going, and we are thankful. We have survived the pandemic, and we are going. We are very thankful. Again, good morning, Tobago. Happy to be talking to Tobago again.
Definitely. All right, now for those viewers who are now joining us and meeting you for the very first time, give us a little background on the Bovell Cancer Diabetes Foundation and what prompted the start of this foundation.
Okay, so the Bovell Cancer Diabetes Foundation was formally launched in 2008, and we did this as an honor to our parents, and a give back to the Trinidad and Tobago community. Our father passed away from the complication of diabetes, and in hindsight we viewed his death as premature Because if we were educated about the condition, we would have known better and we would have responded better. So then after he got sick, lost a leg, lost his sight due to diabetes complications, we realized that there were a number of people out there with the same problem. Because we weren't focused in on the problem before this happened right home. So our parents too were very strong community activists. I mean, developing their communities, were into everything. So we were kind of born into volunteering, into all kinds
giving
back. So this wasn't something big for us to do. So we decided to form the foundation. And what we do primarily is just educate people about the seriousness of diabetes and cancer, because we also have a brother who succumbed to prostate cancer. So it's really dear to us. It's really, I don't know the word, but it's something that we just work consistently on all the time to be sure we are doing what we should do and be sure we are helping others. And our foundation it's a family foundation. We have no subventions from anyone. We work to raise our funds. We write proposals. We beg all over the place. We have many supporters who constantly support us. But the bulk, everything is voluntary. We are 100% voluntary. We want people to know that. We don't have any parent bodies, so we just do things the right way that we should do. And we know that we are doing the right thing because in 2018 we competed and won the Trinidad and Tobago Energy Chamber Award for NGOs for good governance. So we are working at it, but what we want to say is that we are working with people across the lifespan. So we work with the kids all the way into adulthood. And we are not just about, managing your diabetes. So in other words, we are not only for people living with diabetes. We are very big on prevention. So and we do have a lot of activities. If we do have time, we want to talk about some of the activities that we have so people know where they can come for help. As I said, we started in 2008 and we know and we have been measuring our impact over the years. We do have, let me begin with the children, the projects we have for the children.
But just before we get to that, on Friday you had your fair, and this is usually an annual fair, except for COVID, the pandemic period. You guys were not here, but tell us very quickly here about the turnout at the fair on Friday, and this was held at the Sid Gray Complex car park on Friday.
Okay, so this last Friday was our 14th annual Diabetes in the Limelight Jamboree, as we call it. And the turnout after 2 years, mind you, we had our Jamboree virtually over the 2 years for the pandemic. But we were a little timid coming back out after the 2 years face to face. But we are still winding down from the excitement because we had a good turnout. We registered just over 200 adults who came to the fair, received their blood glucose, cholesterol. We had doctors on site. We had the ophthalmologist on site who was really overwhelmed, had to close off at some point. We had exercise on site. We had school children on site. It was really, really very good. And I think we came away saying this was one of the best jamborees that we had, because coming out after the pandemic, and so that was really very good on Friday, and we want to thank all those people who came out, because we worked very hard to get things in place, not having funds, but worked very hard to ensure that we do have the services that people needed.
All right. All right, so let's turn the attention now to some of the programs that you do have upcoming. You started off by talking about the children.
So we have every Saturday, weekly at 3 p.m., we have what we call our children and teen hangout. So we spend 1 hour with the children doing fun things, teaching them about diabetes prevention, because we know that what you learn in childhood, you take it into your adult life.
Yes.
So we spend a whole hour with them every Saturday. And we do it online, by the way. We have switched it to online.
Okay.
And so some parents would tell me, or would tell us, oh, but my child has C exam coming up. And we say, okay, this is a good 1 hour break for them. So they come and they enjoy, and they do short videos, they do all sorts of things. And we do have a lot of work from our children display. So that's an ongoing thing that's happening. We do have our So in Love with My Feet project that goes on. This is preventive foot care, healthy foot care. We do know the relation between diabetes and our feet.
Yes.
So, and we do have a problem with diabetes-related amputations in our country. It's bad right now. We know about it in Tobago. I'm sure most of us know somebody who has had diabetes-related amputation of, if not the foot, some toes or so on. So we do have a preventive foot care, and I would like to see, it's one of the programs, the projects we started in 2014. So we trained lay foot care attendants. And these lay foot care attendants train people how to take care of their feet.
Right.
And we don't just do things by guess, we train those people. So we did our training under Emory University, so we are well on board, and we have seen such impact so far. We do that on a monthly basis, so that's ongoing. We just completed some 6-week series of diabetes prevention and management. So we do different things under that. We do diabetes basics, telling people what diabetes is all about.
Right.
Making people better understand what this condition is. Making people realize that if you are living with diabetes, it's not a death sentence. We do not have a cure, but we do know that we could control it. We could manage it if we have it. So we do these courses. We have one, we just completed one last November 2nd, where we will focus on nutrition, healthy eating. How do you eat? We talked about mindful eating. So we do have that. Again, those are online. We advertise them. We get people to register. We had over 60 registrants on this last one. It was way beyond our expectation, because we call them the small group workshops. So we have to break up people into groups to do them. So that's ongoing. We always have something going on. Towards the end of the month, November 26th, we have our cancer workshop. Our cancer workshop is a bigger one, and it's going to be virtual. We talk cancer there. We have cancer survivors. We have doctors. Again, we have people telling their stories. So I think we have a lot going. So these are ongoing programs. Many people think that we come once per year, but we do have a lot of things going on all through the year. So those are some of the big ones.
And that's a lot. She said those are just some of the big ones. That's a lot. That's a lot happening here. So we've got the cancer workshop coming up. You spoke about the children and teen hangout. One of our viewers on the live is saying, start from the grassroots, our children. We pray this program continues for the benefit of our Tobago people. Much love. Another comment says, I would continue to support and volunteer as I have strength. I'm loving your Afro, Dr. Bovell.
Thank you.
All right. So, I mean, and as you continue to do this, what type of reaction have you been getting from the people on the ground? One, and you mentioned that these programs are being done online. So how can persons link up? How can they make that link?
Okay. So the response, I think after the response, people are receptive. I think, or we have concluded since we started that people do not do the right thing because they do not know what to do. But once they know what to do, they do the right thing. So people are very receptive when they come in, oh, I didn't know this, I did this. So we get a good response. In terms of the second part of your question, which was what again, Ria?
Which was, how can persons make that link? How can they link up with you? Because some of these programs are being done virtually.
Yes.
So what is the link?
Okay, so we are reaching out to people. Mostly we have a WhatsApp number.
Okay.
Because we realize that everybody here in Tobago, they do this WhatsApp thing. So we have a WhatsApp number.
We're growing.
Yes. So that works. It's 334 590 3073. So we do WhatsApp, we do email, which is Bovell Cancer Diabetes Foundation @gmail.com. It's just our name @gmail.com. We do phone. We work the phone, which is 685-9674. We have our Facebook. A lot of people are on our Facebook at times, so they could just search our name, find our Facebook. We are on Twitter too, so a number of different ways we get to them. For the people on the ground who really don't, because we kind of try to reach out.
Right.
We don't expect people to come to us. We do a lot of outreaching. Once you come to any of our event, you enter our database.
Right.
So we would write to them. We write letters.
Yes, I remember those newsletters. I think my email sort of shifted along the way, so I have not been getting, but definitely I'm going to be back on that list.
You would be back online by the time we leave here. So that would be
Definitely.
good. So then, yeah, that's one of the other things we didn't talk about. Our newsletter, we have a quarterly newsletter
Right.
too that's loaded with information. And again, we do WhatsApp it to these people, so they do get our newsletter too. It's just an e-newsletter. We could not afford hard copies. We started trying to distribute hard copies, but we could not afford that.
But I think the reach is wider on social media.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. But thank you so much, Dr. Bovell Benjamin. I've got to put in the Bovell Benjamin here. And a special good morning to Justus and all of the other Bovell siblings out there. Good morning to you, and I love going out to you guys this morning for the job that you do, for always putting your lives out there, putting yourselves out there for the people of Tobago. Thank you so much, Dr. Bovell Benjamin.
And thank you, Ria. You have been our steady support. I think you started way back with
Way
us.
back.
Way back.
Way back indeed.
Yes.
All right, so thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. We've got lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates Morning Show, viewers. So we encourage you this morning, share the live, share the live, share the live.
Mamai Lakai Home Services. We specialize in cleaning of carpets and rugs, mattresses, living room and dining room sets, vehicle detailing, cleaning and sanitizing of homes and commercial spaces. We also do landscaping and tree cutting, pressure and power washing, floor care, fumigating and air purifying. You can also call us for professional painting services, babysitting and adult sitting. Call us now 333-4430 at Mamai Lakai Home Services. We take cleaning to another level.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. It's 7:37 a.m. this morning, and we want to continue to express our appreciation and thanks for each of you tuning in. This is the Tobago Updates morning show, and thank you for continuing to choose us. And just before we head on in this morning to our next segment, I want to send birthday shout-outs this morning. Birthday shout-outs going out to Keris Davidson out there in Speyside. I want to wish you a happy birthday, Keris, celebrating his 18th birthday it is. Today, 18th, heading into that adulthood year. We want to say wishing you a very happy birthday and God's continued blessings coming from the entire Tobago Updates family. All right, viewers, at this point, we head on into our interview this morning as we welcome on set with us Superintendent Rodale Kerr of the TTPS. Morning to you, sir.
Morning, Julian. Morning to you, viewers and listeners, both local, internationally, and regionally.
All right. So as we get started this morning, of course, we had a very eventful kind of weekend, not the type that we would look forward to. But could you give us some updates specific to, the situation that would have taken place in Scarborough and also Lakewood within I dare say within the same nighttime period over the course of the weekend?
First of all, it's always a sad situation when we see one of our own fallen in such a manner. So I want to take this opportunity to extend my sincerest condolences to the family and colleagues and co-workers of the deceased, which is Kyle Lashley. The weekend, really, those activities is a bit unfortunate. We have seen just a slight rise in these kind of incidents. And I just want to let the public be rest assured that the police is doing everything within our power to bring those perpetrators to justice and to minimize such incidents happening as we go forward in the future. In respect to Officer Lashley, we are yet to establish what the real motive was. However, the police, both the homicide, CID, and our investigative apparatus are all collaborating. They have been pursuing all available leads so far, and I believe that at some stage this matter will be brought to a close. All
right, and tell us as well, we would have had similarly in Scarborough Again, another incident, I think, where it is the person has been hospitalized, according to our information.
Right. In Scarborough, yes, there was one person who was shot on the same night of the incident in Laco 2. In respect to that, the police was in pursuit of the perpetrators. Eventually, the vehicle was found abandoned, which is the getaway vehicle, abandoned in Lambo. That vehicle is now in our possession, where our crime scene personnel are processing it with a view of gathering as much evidence as they could in terms of discovering who the perpetrators were.
So
but the person itself is stable, in a stable condition in hospital at this time.
All right. The question for you would be, in the mix of all these things happening, we are already at 10 here in Tobago, which in fact, as far as we are concerned, 1 is already a start and too high in the Tobago space. What would you say is the general mode of operation at this point of the TTPS, given what appears to be, as people would be saying, this thing is getting very serious in the Tobago space? What's happening?
It is all right for people to be concerned, but although we have exceeded our last year, doing our comparative our last year, we have exceeded by 3. This is no strange position to be in at this point in time, where 10 murders in Tobago. The thing about it, when you look at our detection rate in comparison to what we had, our detection rate currently is 50%, and I'm just to rest assured to have the public to be somewhat comforted. I could tell you that I have confidence in the persons who investigate these murders. Being a person who come from that section, I have the strictest confidence in those persons that they will do a good job, and these outstanding matters will also be solved soon.
All right. Tell us something. When you look at the broader scope, we know for some time we'd have had the senior soup, Mr. Benjamin, on, and he spoke very broadly in terms of his comparatives at the national level. Would you say that it's important for us to look at Tobago, or using Tobago as what should ideally be that example within the country? Is that the broader objective of at least being in the Tobago space and working in the Tobago division, bringing Tobago to that point where it can be the model in Trinidad and Tobago when it comes to policing?
I would want to say yes, but sometimes I just want to not tread lightly. The other person might feel a bit kind of. But Tobago, indeed, the officers has shown their ability to work hard. Our officers has been working hard over the past the couple of years. Yes, indeed, our detection rate has been consistent over the past years. Saying that, right now, I know that our detection rate is the second highest nationally, behind Eastern Division. So I am saying, when you look even at our crime trends, although you may see an increase in like robberies, and you might have the little shootings, in looking at the overall statistics, we actually have a decrease in serious crimes this year. We haven't even reached in terms of comparison, our total last year as yet. But that, not resting on our laurels there. The police officers in Tobago are out working hard, and we are doing everything within our powers to solve all these serious nature crime, so that the public could be in a comfortable space and reduce that fear of crime on the island.
Is there direct efforts to treat with rogue elements within the system itself? Because there are some that firmly believe part of the challenge with being able to get a hold on this situation fully has to do with the fact that within the structure of the TTPS itself, there is the need for some weeding out to happen based on those few officers that might be tainting the image of the entire police service.
There is always that need to eliminate rogue element within your system. But I dare say that, it's a small percentage looking at it. And I know all efforts are being put in place to treat with that. There are mechanisms in which to deal with it. I know that is something ongoing, and in the future you will see the results of that. Things like that I may not be able to disclose, but it's investigation ongoing where that is concerned, so that we could bring that situation to appease the public in terms of getting rid of rogue officers within our system.
All right. One of the follow-up areas, and we were chatting about it a little earlier this morning, is concerns within the community space for persons who feel like, I have seen something. I want to say something, but I'm fearful in terms of my very own life and the impact on my family. How do you respond to that as a member of the TTPS, recognizing the importance of being here to protect and serve and working along with the community?
Right. Police, again, police officers cannot achieve all the crime fighting initiative by themselves. We need the community, we need that community engagement, we need to partner with our community. Now the thing about it, if you should look at crime in our space, it hits home almost to every citizen on the island. So it is important that we maintain that relationship. I know persons may have their concerns about trust and confidence within the police, but rest assured we have been working hard to repair that damage already done. We have been working assiduously to bring back that level of trust and confidence, hence the reason why we urge our officers to maintain that community engagement. Now, there are mechanisms in place that people can report these incidents or what they would have witnessed anonymously. That in itself sort of brings confidence to that situation, because when you pass it on, it goes to a place where it is held in strict confidence and it's sent out to the relevant sections and stations to action that immediately. And the thing about it, feedback is important. The stations are mandated to give feedback. So there's that level of measuring what actually is done in respect to those information when they come to the hands of the police.
All right. Tell us about at this point. We've seen incidents where it is persons feel that they've been unfairly treated and they attempt to record the situation that's taking place at the given moment on their phones with an officer. But you've seen some officers resist. Some are accommodating. They have nothing to fear based on the actions. Is it acceptable that if an individual feels that I am being unfairly treated by the police, that in this circumstance it can be recorded?
If a person feels a person has the right to do whatever they feel to do except obstruct the police in their operations. Now, as you know, we, the police, are even equipped with body cams, and all frontline officers are equipped with body cams as well, which record incidents that take place between the engagement between police and the public. But if a citizen feels that something is not right, and he attempts to record, all I'm saying that if he's about to do it from a safe distance. Do not engage the police up in the police face, or do anything to prevent the officers from doing what they are about to do. Because it may be unfortunate that you may be held responsible for obstructing the police in the execution of their duties.
All right. And responsibility for reporting crime within your community and so on. Are there hotlines that persons can contact? Would the same anonymous nature be attached to it, or are persons required to identify themselves, etc.?
Again, if you don't feel like calling a police station direct, you can call the 800 TIPS or the 555. These are anonymous mechanisms put in place to treat with persons report. If you feel to do otherwise, there's also the police service app in which you can record your report online and someone will get in touch with you and action that report.
All right. In terms of your involvement in community work as members of the police service, tell us a little bit more about that strategy regarding connecting and having officers engage. I know you have the police youth clubs operating and so on. How important or essential do you feel that has been in really trying to build the community spirit?
It has had some positive results, and again, our mandate, we urge all station commanders to activate or reactivate the station councils within their district or department, so that they will have that direct engagement with stakeholders within the community. That in itself builds that relationship among the community and the police. And they are asked to do it at least once per month. You have that major meeting where you could meet with the stakeholders, listen to issues, and try to work, mutually to resolve community issues.
All right. And going forward, can we look forward to any kind of intensifying in particular areas and so on, based on what we have seen? As I said, making persons a little bit uncomfortable. This is happening in our Tobago space.
Already we have been proactive where that is concerned. We already have assistance coming from Port of Spain. where we have our IATF personnel on the ground, and they are assisting us with boosting and increasing our patrols in what we regard as some of the, well, I wouldn't call it hotspot, but some of the areas we have seen an uptick in certain kind of activities. So we already have them, along with, we also have other agencies that came on board to assist us in our patrols throughout the island, so that we could, maintain that level of safety and security among our communities on the island.
All right, and in closing this morning, your words of encouragement to the general public, or reassuring the general public that the TTPS is on top of things?
Well, I want to assure the general public to remain vigilant. I want them to give them that assurance that the TTPS Tobago is working and continue to work assiduously to bring all these matters of concern to a solution. I know that you may be concerned to see the rise in some aspects of criminality. However, I wish to assure them that we are on top of things. We will get the work done. We will put things in place to make sure that that continuity and that level of comfort returns to the island.
All right. Any other contacts outside of 999, or that's the emergency contact that you'd prefer persons to use?
999 is the emergency contact. We have our criminal investigation department, 639-2515. You can also, well, I would not, but if you call it 999, you will be patched to wherever you want to get your report off, and that will be treated with a level of urgency.
All right, then. Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us on set here this morning, Superintendent Rodil Kerr of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, as we speak to the current happenings and that reassurance that the TTPS is indeed on top of the situation. All right, we just want to recognize very quickly some of our viewers joining us in the mix this morning. Selma Lashley, Julia Brown, Marjorie George, Katie Robinson, Carol Fraser Davidson this morning, Liebert Jack, Pearl Murray Beard, Auntie Dora Lyons, Marilyn Spence, Joe Field, Maurice Carut. Morning to each and every one of you. Maurice Carut looking on from Curacao, and we want to say welcome to you. In terms of joining us here this morning, Joan Phillips Pierre, and to each and every one of you, we want to thank you for the continued love and support, and thank you for choosing the Tobago Updates morning show, for continuing to connect with us this morning. All right, we want to thank all our viewers, those of you joining us via TV, those joining and listening in via radio, and those of you online. Remember that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Rest assured helps me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest assured, the affordable financial comfort plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Oh God, oh gosh, all you catch me? Well, we know it's the Tobago Carnival weekend, so right now, I winding down low to loud discounts at American stores. Remember, anything can be yours at American stores.
Anything can be yours at American stores.
This is it. Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement, and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor. or you can call us on 730-0149. Exhale Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
If you see or know about a crime, report a crime safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. You can play your part safely and anonymously. Report a crime. Earn a reward. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime. Be a hero, champion, fearless citizen. Be a crime stopper safely and anonymously. Call 800-TIPS. Help stop crime.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard, I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. Yes, and this morning we just got two more birthdays in the mix. We got the photo just in. It wasn't up on screen initially. Photo for Keris Davidson. Keris Davidson, wishing you a happy birthday. And a gentleman looking sharp out there in pink, and we're hoping that photo should come up on screen anytime now. Keris Davidson, yes, and this is coming from his mom, his dad, and the entire family.
Dapper.
Auntie Ria, when you see the suit, so
I tell you, no, this is really interesting, and I've known this young man since I have to say young man now because I've known him since he was a boy.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
but this is certainly a young man who comes from very good stock.
Yes.
And I have to say, birthday greetings going out to him. All the best indeed.
Definitely wishing him a happy birthday today. And we also have a belated birthday greeting going out. All right, we have a little bit of technical difficulties with connecting, but I know we should be able to connect with him within the week. But we still want to take the opportunity today to wish him, a happy birthday and to celebrate him here on the Tobago Updates morning show. Certainly a veteran in the business, and I'm always happy to see my namesake from one Julian to another, and from the entire Tobago Updates family, wishing Julian Rogers a happy birthday and God's continued blessings indeed. Just before we wrap this morning, also to recognize, I got message via our WhatsApp. Yes, the blazer on top this morning, courtesy Checkpoint, and that's Checkpoint located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough. Remember to connect with them at 639-5148. Checkpoint.
All right, just my size. Good morning to you. Here, Sanctuary, Joyce Fashions. Good morning. And these are some of our wonderful supporters and sponsors for the Tobago Updates morning show. I'm really hoping to have the hair done. But even as I mentioned that, Julian, there are business places, because we saw over the last week or so where our Miss Universe contestant, should we say contestant?
Well, yes,
candidate
one of those that participated in the pageant.
Yes. Had some issues with regards the franchise holder, with regards hair, and I have some problems with that. But there are also some business entities out there in Tobago who tell some of their black girl employees, and I have to say it like that, black girl employees, that they need to do something with their hair, because their hair as it is not suitable. Their hair as it is not enough, and the persons have been asked questions about their weight. on the job, Julian, they wait. This is happening in Tobago.
It's still very much a challenge, and that's the, I suppose I just see it as that's the criteria set for these competitions. But it's important for us to ensure that we stay in touch with what has become very modern now, and people ought to be comfortable with themselves under the circumstances.
Why should I have to change how I look?
So you have to make a determination, is this for me or isn't it for me at all? And in the circumstances, you make that decision as best as you see fit. But it's always a very challenging thing, especially in these times within which we live, where social media tends to want to dictate what the quote-unquote ideal image is. And I've seen situations, that's it, and I've seen situations where persons live one image on social media, and it's the total opposite when you engage and interact with them, but we'll leave it for there for now. Some may say makeup makes that difference for some as well, but I won't go into that this morning. You look one way when you got it on, and then totally different when it's off. But who knows, that might be the excellence of a great makeup artist in the circumstance, all right?
I give my makeup artist very little work to do because I am a natural beauty.
I feel like that's it. I feel like ideally makeup should enhance, but I suppose it's the expertise of an artist if it does more than just enhancing and recreates a totally different image. But to each his own. To each his own under these circumstances. It's Monday morning, folks, and we want to thank you very much for connecting with us here on the Tobago Updates morning show. And remember to stay tuned because we're heading out from the Tobago Updates morning show, but we're connecting with Tobago Notes and straight on into GMT with Candice. Bye-bye for now, folks.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
Love affair, an intense enthusiasm or liking for something. Tobago, the capital of paradise. Put the two together and we understand your love affair for all 116 square miles of untouched beauty. That is Tobago. And according to Chief Secretary Fali Augustine, every love affair needs to be infused with freshness to keep the romance alive. And that's exactly what's being done by Team Tobago at World Travel Market 2022.
Currently in Tobago, construction has started on a new airport terminal, and when that terminal is completed, it will be one of the largest within the Caribbean region and will be able to facilitate all of you and tons more. You heard about all of the new airlift arrangements that we are currently planning, and we are preparing for you. Secondly, we can finally announce that the Manta Lodge Hotel that you have heard about from about 5 years ago is finally ready for delivery.
Honorable Augustine says more sweets can only make the Tobago love affair sweeter. But what's being created is a product that's superior to anywhere in the world.
We have development starting. The build project has started for the Elephant Tree Resort that's happening up in Tobago East, just downstream of the Argyle waterfall, sandwiched between two rivers and the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. Construction has begun there. I can also tell you that a new 5-star hotel, I'm not at liberty to give the name, but they are about to start construction in June 2023 at the Kilgwin Bay area.
And there are also exciting new pillars on which the Tobago offering is being rebuilt upon, which include exponential and event tourism.
We're excited to welcome our Tobago Jazz Experience once again next year in 2023, and we'll be excited to announce our headliners very soon as we are finished with World Travel Market. So that I want you to remember that you have to tell a friend about Tobago.
The Tourism Secretary says Tobago is also unearthing the treasures of the island, which will take visitors on a journey of rediscovery. She says our cocoa industry is also being revitalized. You see, Tobago love. Tobago love.
And we look forward to see you in Tobago sometime, anytime. Just jump on a flight and get there anyhow you can, because I assure you the experience will be second to none.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia. Let's go.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Chairman of the Tobago Business Chamber, Attorney Martin George, expressed concerns about Tobago recording its 10th murder over the weekend. SRP Kyle Lashley was killed in a drive-by shooting in Providence Road on Saturday night. In a separate incident, a man was shot in Scarborough and remains hospitalized. George called on the Commissioner of Police to focus intense action in Tobago and make it a safe zone in the country. He said the flow and supply of illegal drugs and guns must be stopped, and he urged authorities to install vehicle scanners at the seaports to detect guns coming into the island via ferry. Meanwhile, Commissioner of Police McDonald Jacob issued a press release saying that the TTPS will use all available resources to find SRP Kyle Lashley's murderer. Jacob said interagency task force officers and defense force personnel are in Tobago to arrest the perpetrators in the shortest possible time. According to reports, Lashley, who worked at the Crown Point police station, was in the company of friends around 7:10 p.m. at Providence Road when a black Kia Cerato stopped alongside him and two armed men exited. One of the men took Lashley's gold chain and fired several shots at him. The men then entered the vehicle, which sped off. And now, Orupush West MP Devindranath Tanku described Trinidad and Tobago as the Wild Wild West after at least 5 murders were recorded over the weekend, including the SRP officer from Tobago. He wondered what it would take for the government to admit its slumber and take meaningful action against crime and violence. He said many citizens are living in fear, while some are considering migrating to protect their families and livelihoods. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And now, before we get into our program today, I just wanted to highlight a little experience. So I'm going a little bit different this morning from usually how I start. But like as you listen to the morning show this morning, you would have heard Julian talk about the Eastern Credit Union Diabetes Walk, and it was a wonderful experience to be a part of that. But there was something that happened on that I need to highlight. And these men here were part of the walk as well. And the one in the middle decided that along the road that it was okay to, throw his bottle off to the side of the road. And when myself and a friend of mine, the two of us, 2 women, told them, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be littering, well, the response was less than favorable. In fact, he got very hostile with us, and he said some pretty interesting things in the sense that, there are people working to clean up the sides of the road. And I would just like to say that, we need to get away from that mentality of saying that, it have people there to pick up our trash. Because the truth is, that's not a mentality we should be carrying about in Tobago. Tobago is known for being clean and serene and all that. We have always prided ourselves in being litter free, and yet we have this mentality growing amongst our young people, and that says that yes, we can litter as much as we want and have people to clean it up. No, because those bottles, does end up in our waterways. We've had some serious problems with flooding, especially in the lowlands area. There's actually one person that was flooded out 3 times in the past month in Mount Pleasant. And, you know, we have to do what we can to mitigate. We can't always stop the rainfall, but the things that we throw at the side of the road ends up in our drains, and they clog the waterways, and then we get floods, and then people's livelihoods are affected. So for those of us who are taking part in any event or just, you know, on our merry way, please keep your trash with you until you find a bin and dispose of them. And if someone tells you to pick up something that you threw on the road, do not get hostile with them. All right, so that was my off-script, out of the usual thing that I'm doing this morning, because it is something that we need to be concerned. We need to protect our environment. Anyways, getting into our conversation this morning, it's my pleasure to welcome in person. You saw her last week on via Zoom from England, but she's here with us in person, none other than the director of CAFA, and that is Dr. Lisa Indar. Good morning and welcome to you.
Yes, good morning.
And then joining us on the line, we also have Mr. Chris James, who is the president of the Tobago Hotel and Hotel and Tourism Association. Good morning and welcome to you, Mr. James. How are you doing?
Good morning, Candice. Good morning, Dr. Indar.
Good morning.
All right, great. So this morning, we heard about it a little bit last week, but we're talking about this launch of the CARICOM Regional CAFA's environmental safety standards for the hospitality industry. So for those people who did not hear about it last week, so Dr. Indar, could you give us a little idea of what is this about? It's something to be launched today.
Okay, great. Thank you and good morning to everyone. Yes, so this today is a milestone event. It's the launch of the first ever CARICOM Hospitality Regional Health, Safety and Environmental Sanitation Standards. It is a set of 7 different standards, accumulative standards, and we are launching it today at the Magdalena at 4 p.m. It is a very significant launch because I guess it's the first ever standards, and this is all part of one of the regional public good that CAFA, the Caribbean Public Health Agency, through its Regional Tourism and Health Program has created. The Regional Tourism and Health Program aims to reduce, illnesses and improve the well-being of both our local and visitor population. Our aim is to create a healthier, safer tourism product. And so we have a set of different types of regional products, monitoring systems, standards, policy, guidelines, and training. And the launch of the standards, kind of peaks all the different products that we have created. And we hope that this, when implemented in the whole tourism sector, will really improve health and safety.
Great. And of course, this is being done in collaboration with stakeholders, and which is why we have Mr. James on the line. So Mr. James, I just want you to give us your perspective from the THTA perspective. How do you guys feel about being a part of this program?
It's excellent. I want firstly to thank CAFA and CHTA for all the guidance through COVID, because the members benefited enormously from the free webinars that we had for that. This is another step forward. It is clear, and I know that the stakeholders are a bit overwhelmed with everything that's happening, but it's clear coming out of World Travel Market that safety and health are number 1 in many people's decision making to come on holiday. So this is critical. It's very important. I'm hoping we get a good turnout at the Magdalena at 4 o'clock, because even though they are overwhelmed, they really need to be part of this. The other destinations are becoming very competitive. The Caribbean was very busy at World Travel Market. There's great excitement about coming back. I think it was busier than normal. I suppose it was because of being locked down for so long. We had so many people there. But this is a very important initiative. It's something we will have to do because, as I say, the tourists, the tour operators are all putting #1 health and standards on their agenda. So that it's very good, Candice.
All right, and Dr. Indar, I mean, so we're talking about standards here for the industry. Now, how is this being introduced to stakeholders so that they can get on board?
Right. So, following the launch, these standards as regional public good, and I must say, this is funded through the IDB. They'll be available through our websites. We'll have printed versions, and they'll be available to any tourism facility, whether it be a hotel or a guest house, event operator, a tour operator, and a taxi driver, and so on. Because the way the standards are, they are meeting national, regional, and international requirements, and they are really the minimum set of requirements that you should have to really improve health and safety. So anything above that is better, but it will be available on our website as well, free of charge, as well as in printed version, in which we will be following this, we will be distributing to all our countries in the region.
What are some of the requirements for the standards?
Right. So first, the standards are voluntary. They are not mandatory. In fact, anywhere, most places in the world, nothing is really mandatory unless there's policy. So the requirements are that first that, you go through the process, and at the end of each standard, there is a standards checklist. It tells you the minimum requirements, and it tells you which are the critical areas. So the idea is what we would want is for the facilities to go through to ensure they are now making it as part of the operational standards. So, it's like you're brushing your teeth. You get up in the morning, you must brush your teeth. What are the first things you should do in terms of food safety or energy management or in terms of sewage management? What are the critical areas that you need to have? And then through that checklist, CAFA will verify to say, well, okay, you're meeting the minimum standards. If you meet it and you go through the process, you get a healthier, safer tourism stamp. So at the moment, the Tourism and Health Program creates a recognition or a regional award to say that you're doing proactive health measures. And that award, as Chris said, is what our tourism stakeholders want. They want to say, health is #1 on their priority. So you get a stamp stating it's a silver award, it's a higher level award than the normal stamp, to say that in addition to training, you are now implementing recommended operational standards.
Okay, great. And now, Mr. James, I just want to get from you, how much are those tourism stakeholders out there in the world, like the tour agencies, how much are they looking forward to destinations that are offering that sort of certified stamp of approval, so that when their guests come, there's some sort of guarantee that in light of everything that happened over the past couple of years, that, their guests would meet a situation that is up to some level of health and safety standards?
No, Candice, is critical. I mean, in speaking to the tour operators, in fact, in speaking to some of the hotels that have been negatively affected by outbreaks of norovirus and all of these things, and the cost to them, both immediate costs in having to close their hotel, but also a reputational cost. This is very important. As I said, I know that the stakeholders are a bit overwhelmed with all of these things. Technology has changed. COVID has speeded up so many things. But this is a critical part of what we need to do, because once you get this bad reputation, it's a long time to come out of it, and it's a very costly experience. I mean, I know Dr. Indar has examples of hotels being closed 3-6 months after a breakout, because I think there's an understanding that COVID is on the way out, but there are so many other things that can affect us, and the reporting mechanism within the CAFA program is excellent, because it can actually put you in line. You can actually identify if there is a problem, because the problem may not be in one establishment. So CAFA can identify if there is a problem, deal with it before it becomes a serious outbreak, and it's really needed. It's as I say, I know they're overwhelmed, but this is something that's critically important, and it's something that will help us be prominent amongst other destinations. I'm sorry, I'm still half asleep. I can't wake up this morning.
No problem, Mr. James. And I mean, leading off from what Mr. James said, Dr. Indar, he pointed to, COVID-19 is not the only thing that we have to worry about out there. What else do we have to worry about? What else do we have to prepare ourselves for?
I'm smiling because, it's not something we should be happy about. But the genesis of this whole tourism and health program, CAFA's regional tourism and health program, came because of a big norovirus outbreak in one of a very prominent hotel. And, you know, norovirus, like COVID, spreads from person to person. And, you know, because it spreads from person to person, imagine you are now in a hotel setting, close contact, and a lot of people, mass gathering. So those are nice elements, so contributing factor for spread. And within, you know, overnight there were 50 cases, and then within a couple of days there were 300 cases, and by the end of the week there were 800 cases. So of course the reputation preceded. People were saying don't go to that country, not even to the hotel, that people were dying, none of it which was true. But the point is, an outbreak of this caused serious reputational damage. And, you know, the premier of that country got up in an event and said, you know, I spend millions of dollars on marketing my country. However, one bug come and destroyed it. And that's the impact of health on tourism. And COVID-19 showed that to us as well. So there are many different types of illnesses that, you know, the impact on the tourism sector, because diseases knows no boundaries. And a tourist can bring illness, or we can give them illnesses. So the idea is to prevent that. You know, you have salmonella and shigella and norovirus and so on. But the fact is, and now we are seeing influenza. And as COVID is decreasing, we are seeing, you know, more influenza coming up. So diseases are here. And we have seen throughout the last 15 years that we have new diseases like Zika and chikungunya, now COVID. And, you know, so we want to ensure through the program that we put measures in place that we're improving health and tourism. So the standards is one of the many different products. We have, Chris mentioned, we have a monitoring system. So it's the only type of system in the world, a real-time monitoring system. You can literally report on your phone. But with it comes a response. You trigger a response to the ministry and to CAFA and to the particular facility. And there is an immediate response. So before it spreads to 300 and 400 cases, you nip it in the bud. And in doing so, you're really reducing risks. All of this is going to make tourism, your tourism product, a healthier product. And that's what the visitors are looking for. But it then triggers down to healthier, safer populations.
Certainly.
So we really believe that this is important, and it works. The fact that you're not seeing big outbreaks means that it is working.
Great. And now, Mr. James, could you tell me a little bit about your relationship with, well, the THTA's relationship with CAFA into making things like this happen so that, you know, we can take care of our guests that come to the island?
Well, what we do is all members and non-members are invited to the webinars and virtual meetings, and invited to today's launch at Magdalena at 4 o'clock. So it's an open hand to anybody that wants to be part of this, and I do recommend they should be part of it. So that's the way we assist. We make sure the members have the information they need. And as I say, going back to what I learned at World Travel Market this time, these kind of health issues are front and center of most people's minds at the moment. And everything is moving. Technology is moving so quickly after COVID. So health is, as Dr. Indar said, it would be a disaster after all this effort at World Travel Market, all the money that we're spending through TTEL, that we have an outbreak of anything. So it's better that the reporting happens, we stop it, anything that happens we stop and put control on it, and then we can get back onto promoting this beautiful destination.
And of course, I know this would come at a cost. To bring your properties up to standard would come at a cost. But you have a partnership with the IDB to help the stakeholders. So can you expand a little bit on that?
So, you know, the IDB has been holding our hands through this. We have a grant through the IDB that helped us from the genesis, from the impetus to give us the impetus to start this program, all the different elements of the program. And so through it, we are able to implement in countries free of charge to the countries, including all the different training and what we do in Tobago, so that, you know, we really ramp up their tourism product to a healthier, safer product. So that initiative continues, and so at the moment it's free of charge. So we really want to urge all our tourism facilities to get on board, because this is the way the world is going. Visitors are demanding more health and healthier product. In fact, the UK Travel Association did a survey, and more than 90% of travelers says health is their priority. And nothing really destroys someone's day when they come and they get sick. And it's not just about the visitor stay, it's really our local populations. We want to protect health, we want to improve health, and we are implementing this in the region. And Tobago, we started in 2016, and through Ministry to Tourism and to Health, as well with the Hotel Association.
All right, great. All right, viewers, well, we're coming close to the end of the conversation, but I mean, just for information's sake, when and where is this launch happening?
Great. So the standards would be launched at the Magdalena Beach Resort this afternoon at 4 p.m. It would be live on Facebook, so please join us there. We do have other persons who are joining us in person, and we'll have some very important persons there. We'll have Councillor Tanis Burris, the Secretary of Tourism. We have Dr. Faith B. Israel, the Deputy Secretary and Secretary for Health. We have, of course, yours truly, Chris, and we'll have Mr. Frank Comito from the Special Advisor for the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, and Mr. Neil Walters, the Acting Secretary General for the Caribbean Tourism Organization. And of course, we have our Executive Director of CAFA, Dr. Joy St. John. So they will all be there to talk and to launch this. It is a milestone event in the sense that you're launching something that it took 4 years to make, and we believe that this will really ramp up the tourism product. It will reduce adverse events, and it will improve your reputation.
All right, and of course, is this open to anyone who's in the tourism industry?
Yes, so it's live on CAFA's Facebook. Anyone.
Great. All right, I want to thank you, Mr. James and Dr. Indar, for being on with us and for just giving us a perspective on something that is so needed within our tourism space.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, viewers, we'll take a short break right now. When we come back, we'll get into some more conversations.
Was a while before Christmas, and all through the land, people was putting away house with very little money in hand. They was painting and cleaning and doing their chores, but I went to hunt for deals at American stores. Deals on living and dining room sets, on fridges and stoves, beds and cabinets, on washers and dryers, small appliances cheap, even TVs and stereos, prices just can't be beat. So let's Christmas together at American stores. After all, what they tell we, anything could be yours.
Anything can be yours at American stores.
Welcome to Lamarche Parfait Day Spa and Wellness Center, your premier spa experience located at Bonaccord, Tobago. Visit us today for facials, cellulite treatments, body contours, body treatments, pedicures, manicures, and much more. We have gift cards for all occasions and corporate events. Connect with us on Facebook at Lamarche Parfait Day Spa or call us 273-7772.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Whole Life helps me secure their future, provides financial protection with added benefits. Whole Life, the affordable financial benefits plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Update. And then joining me on set now is none other than Mr. Alvin Douglas, commonly known as Dougie, owner of Frontier Divers, and you know, the man you should go to if you want to learn how to scuba dive in Tobago. Good morning.
Morning, Candice. Morning to your viewers.
All right, great. Now, Mr. Douglas just came back from Orlando, where the diving and equipment expo happened, marketing expo happened. So tell me a little bit about that and Tobago's, you know, marketing ploy out there in Orlando to get some of the diving community into Tobago.
Well, the DEMA show, by the way, DEMA stands for Dive Equipment Marketing Association, and it's one of the largest dive trade show in the world. And the reason why you would have a show like that is so that like-minded people in the profession will be able to meet, and they do a lot of things in the show. They update on the educational aspects of diving. They update on the equipment. They market, see what's the marketing trend. Basically, it's very important that an island like Tobago be present at a show like that all the time, because even if we are top dive destination, you need to put a face on the product.
Certainly.
And you can't do that on Facebook only. Most of the islands that go there, they want to put a personality to the product. So they want to see who they're dealing with. When the dive operators, when we meet and we sit, they want to see who are the people that we are going to meet. They already know that we have some of the best dives in the world, but they want to know about the operators. They want to know, they want to hear our dialect. They want to know what is the temperature of the water in Tobago in September. And the only only people who can do that is the dive professionals.
Of course. So you were there, and as well as Mr. Derek Chung, who is another diver in the space, out there promoting Tobago as a dive destination. Now, what's the temperature out there like amongst the diving community, coming out of COVID-19?
I was surprised. It was a fantastic show. I mean, scuba diving is on the rebound, and we need to make sure that we provide a platform for Tobago. Unfortunately for us and the dive community, we took a really bad hit with COVID. There's only 3 dive shops like ours on the island, and that is from 11 before COVID, and 10-15 years back it was more than 20 dive shops on the island. So there's only 3 of us that is holding the fort, and
2 on the western end and one in Speyside.
One in Speyside. So there's Sean Robinson on the Speyside with Tobago Dive Experience, and there is myself, Frontier Divers, and Derek Chung in Cocoa Reef, Undersea Tobago.
Yes.
And so we went up there and we collaborated our efforts to make sure that everybody know that we're visible. And I was very surprised, and I also before anything else, we have to give the present TTL board.
That's the Tourism Agency Board.
The Tourism Agency Board. I mean, Miss Edwards and Devines, they threw us a lifeline. They brought the technical aspect in the tourism, and they basically guide us through, made sure we met with all the operators to say that, okay, Tobago is up and back and running. And we have been doing that show for almost 20 years. That, in fact, that's our 20th year. So we are a senior player in the show. And I can't remember anybody else being so dynamic at the show. And they're not divers, but they made sure that the operators were there with all the discussions and all the meetings. We were there making sure that we market the island.
Now, do you think that we'll be able to get some visitors into Tobago in the near future?
You know, the problem is not us getting visitors in. The problem is if we could handle the visitors that's going to come.
Can we? So can we handle it?
Well, hopefully. We're working on it.
Yes.
But the thing with Tobago is Tobago has to take advantage of the fact that we are more or less in a safe zone. I know that we were talking about the crime situation and all these things, and from a professional point of view, from a person who deals with foreigners that come to the island, I would tell you that obviously you don't want crime in your space, but if something happens to your visitors, it's not so much a crime that is the problem, you know, it's the response. We have to make sure that we have a prompt response. We have to make sure that we know that it's a tourist-oriented island and make sure that we respond properly. Okay? But these people are aware that there are some rotten eggs in the island. Regardless of our paradise, there are some rotten eggs. And if they get caught out, we need to be able to respond. So with that said, we want to make sure that Tobago stays safe. And the region is a safe region. So people are looking for new places within that region, within that Caribbean space to visit. And Tobago is on top of the list.
Now, we know that Tobago has some of the best dives, I mean, I would say in the Caribbean. Yeah. I mean, what you see in Tobago, you do not necessarily see at some of the other islands. Yeah. Yeah. But, and I know that the THU was positioning Manta Lodge to be that premier hotel or resort to accommodate the diving community and to sort of organize the dive industry a little bit more. Is that coming along?
Yes, I'm hearing about the famous Manta Lodge, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing to know that the divers are afforded a space for themselves. To add to that, there is I know that I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but they're working really hard. THA is working really hard on getting direct flights, specifically for divers. When I say specifically for divers, they'll be able to bring their dive gear in and maybe not pay for it, you know? So they're working really hard in positioning the dive sector where we need to be. So the fact that we have a hotel that is specifically for divers could only be a good thing.
Okay, and then what about the potential, or why is it so important that we tap into the dive market? What can they offer Tobago financially?
The thing about it is a trickle-down effect. When I bring 20 divers to the island, they only dive with me. The majority of the money goes back to the island. They don't sleep by me. I don't have a restaurant. The transport. All this goes back to the community. And with that said, we need to make sure that Tobago's has to constantly be educated on how the tourism product affects everybody. Because like for the carnival, people would say, listen, okay, you had a lot of people on the island. That might not necessarily transcend into my niche, because these people are coming for a specific purpose. However, I would benefit. I will benefit because of the fact that you are marketing the island. So I might not benefit directly, but I'm going to benefit in the long run. So we need to make sure that we know that, like for instance, I tell people about, and I'm going to plug in Penny Savers. Penny Savers is a beautiful place, but Penny Savers wasn't there for us. Penny Savers know that we have visitors on the island, but we as the locals are afforded that quality of service and that variety of things. It's not for us. It's only 60,000 shy of us, but there are thousands of people with that type of taste that come to the island, and the businesses and the knows they need to upgrade. And we take advantage of that.
And then the diving industry brings, I mean, they are huge spenders in the space as well.
The dive industry are huge spenders. The dive industry, that niche, when they come to the island, they would come, and regardless of the hindrance, like for instance, the travel. When we try to market to the American market, the average American get 1 week. When they know that they have to overnight in Trinidad, it's a deterrent. So, but with the niche as a diver, they would sleep in the airport because we are tapping into their passion, and they come here and they spend the money to go and visit our ocean.
What else do we need within our space to help bolster the dive industry?
We need direct flights. We need people to get on the island. Sorry Trinidad, I love you guys. But we need to find a way to fly over you guys and land straight here, because that's what is required, especially if you're going into the American market. That's what everybody wants. They want to make sure that they can get to the island. Yeah, we need to also just constantly ramp up on the educational part of diving so that everybody is on board. The whole island must be like Castara. I'm plugging in Castara again. Castara, because everybody bought into the tourism product.
Yes.
Understand that it benefits everybody. The whole island has to be like Castara.
And I mean, we've seen another situation developing too that is concerning, and that is that of coral bleaching, because we have the temperatures are rising, the sea temperatures are rising, and it's affecting the corals. So over the past few months, what have you been seeing out there?
You know, I work closely with the Institute of Marine Affairs. We take them out all the time, they monitor all the time, you know, and when we see incidents of coral bleaching, we report it immediately. And we do have bleaching as is taking place right now. It's sad to say that there's very little we can do about it. What we can do is to make sure that the pollutants that get into the water, that we don't contribute to the stress. Because the coral is being stressed because of the warmth of the water. We cannot add to the stress by putting pollutants. We cannot add to the stress by cutting down our mangrove, by destroying our wetlands. We cannot add to it. You understand? That is what we could do. Our part is to make sure that the mass don't end up in the water, that we don't destroy our natural filters to filter all the impurities that go into the water. Okay? That's what we need to do.
All right, and that's a discussion that we're going to get into a little bit more, but we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be speaking more about the dive industry in Tobago, because of course that is extremely important to Tobago's tourism product. So stay with us.
Rest Assured helped me to cope with the unexpected, provides financial help for final expenses. Rest Assured, the affordable financial comfort plan. Tattoo Life, guaranteed protection.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Oh God, oh gosh, all you catch me? Well, we know it's the Tobago Carnival weekend, so right now, I winding down low to loud discounts at American stores. Remember, anything can be yours at American stores.
Anything can be yours at American stores.
This is it.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Now we are continuing our discussions with Mr. Alvin Douglas of Frontier Divers. Of course, he just came back from DEMA in Orlando, where the diving community was out there promoting Tobago as a dive destination. Of course, we know that Tobago has some of the best dive sites in the Caribbean. It is well known and well celebrated. But I mean, all is not right with it. Now, before we went to the break, we talked about just that incidence of coral bleaching that's happening. And while we can't stop it because there is the sea temperatures rising that we cannot control, but there are things that we can control that are affecting our waters and affecting the experience that our visitors can happen, and that is us being irresponsible. Yeah. And in terms of, you know, like I said, as I started off the show this morning, speaking about somebody who was just throwing their bottles off the side of the road, not caring. In his mind, somebody is going to pick it up. As if, you know, he has servants all over Tobago. But, I mean, the truth is, a lot of the trash that we throw on the side of the road eventually ends up right in the water.
Ends up right in the water.
And then, I mean, Mr. Douglas, you have encountered a lot of those trash in the water along your dives.
You know, for the last couple of months, myself and a couple of students from Trinidad has been taking out a net that has been across a reef called Karawak Reef. Karawak Reef is a reef just off Store Base on the.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that there's a reef right there.
There's a beautiful reef there, and we most of the dive shops and we use it as a training ground.
Yes,
it's fantastic. And there's a net that has been abandoned there, and the net. There's one time I had to free a manta. Now I'm taking one of my students, and this huge creature is fighting with this abandoned net.
No.
And we had to cut it out, you know. Now, he was amazed, but it's embarrassing to know that we as a people don't appreciate what we have. We left the net, the piece of the net is still there because it's so huge. So every time we go there, we have to free these animals because we've left the net to destroy our pride. We're trying to market the island. That's embarrassing to me. And, you know, we can mitigate that with education. We have to educate the people for them to understand there are certain things. If you want a tourism product, you have to stop the turtles, killing the turtles. You have an eye effect with the turtle. The eye effect means that every time a person sees a turtle, that is $50 US in somebody else's pocket in your economy. When you eat it, you eat it. Eat chicken. Don't eat the turtles. The turtles are a creature on the endangered list all over the world. We must know this as tourism stakeholders. If we want to be in this tourism game, there's a balance that we need. We need to make sure that we enforce these things.
And I want to touch on something as well. I mean, as we're talking about, you know, that type of destination that we want to sell out there. Now, when you talk about the diving community and all these other special niches, you know, one thing that they look for is that how well we take care of our environment.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, are we green in our attitudes towards our environment?
We are lucky to be in this location regionally, because the flow from the Orinoco River has given our ecosystem a little bit more resilience. That is why we still have a fantastic and a vibrant marine ecosystem.
That could produce the largest rainfall in the Western Hemisphere.
That's why the fresh water and all these things, they still survive because they are accustomed to that. Around this time of the year, we have a flow of fresh water coming from the Orinoco River that feeds our nutrient rich. However, there's a very sensitive balance that we need to maintain. So we can't put any more of this nutrient in it, because it's going to smother the reef, and it is going to just promote the decaying and the destruction of the reef. There is the reef is under some stress, and when I'm talking about reef, the average person thinks that Buko Reef. But
is the only reef, but there's reefs all
around
the island.
Is surrounded by reef.
And then that is what supports our fishing industry, so
that
I mean, we
and
boast about our fish. Well, yeah, we can.
Our coastline.
Yes.
You go down to Pigeon Point, the entrance to Pigeon Point, and you see everybody now bathing in swallows. The reason why people is able to bathe in swallows is because the fringing reef is dying. We are killing that reef, so it's sandy. So the average, us idiot, I say Tobago, but humans, we are bathing and having fun, but it's because we are killing the reef. We are killing the reef because we are starving it from nutrients, because of the infrastructural development that doesn't see to it that we make sure the natural flow of nutrients is maintained on that fringing reef. That's why you are able to now park up in swallows and jump in, and it's a sandy bottom.
Yes, because before it was very rocky, and this was like 20 years ago.
Yes,
it was incredibly rocky.
It's rocky. It's not rocks. It's reef, but it's dead. They're dead now. So now what's going to happen? If a storm approaches us from the Caribbean side and smashes into us, what do you think is going to happen to all this infrastructure on the coastline when that reef dies? They're gone. We have natural barriers against things like storm and hurricane. We have the natural barriers. We have to know this as a people, and we have to preserve it.
And then when we destroy our reefs by us just, like you said, just not being careful and just not caring, then we have to spend millions and millions of dollars that we don't have on that infrastructure to protect the coastlines.
There's nothing you could do. Anytime the reef died there, you could go all millions of dollars, you could put all kind of rock there. The sea is going to take back. Once it is that you destroy that reef is specially designed to absorb the energy of the waves, And there's nothing you can put there to stop that. What we need to do is to preserve what we have.
And then we also have done incidents where people are not caring about their runoffs. People build a drain and they make sure it goes into the water, but they don't realize that there's something that happens when that water gets in.
A few days ago, I took the IMA back out. They were doing some of the research, and it was rainfall. And the amount of muck that came onto the nylon pool and the no man's land, because the mangrove and the wetland is being destroyed.
By people throwing trash?
Not only throwing trash, but they're destroying the natural filters. Your filter is the wetland and the mangrove. They filter the nutrients, they run off. When you destroy it, then it goes straight into the ocean. It goes straight in, and then it goes onto the reef, and it smothers the reef, and it kills the reef. It's as easy, as simple as that.
And you know, the best way that you can experience that for yourself to see it is that through, I'm going to promote, I guess, Eric here, the Environmental Institute of Charlottesville, because they do these special snorkel tours that take you from the jetty to Pirates Bay, and then you can see for yourself like where the water runs off from Charlottesville into the drains into the sea. You can see how that affects the health of the reef.
It does.
You can literally see it.
Out, you know?
So, which is why, I mean, we need to be careful about what are the things that we need to do in terms of the runoff. And then what suggestions do you have for the government to, you know, at least to consider in terms of how do we monitor this and make sure we're not destroying our reefs further?
Tobago has to introduce the people to the water. There is our educational system bars students from venturing in the water and the country. And there are some schools that are smart enough to work around it. This week, I was with Astra Boys.
From San Fernando in Trinidad.
From San Fernando, landlocked. And they came up here to train and to dive, okay? Because they know, in the long run, they will be getting into, it will be surrounded by water. So what we as Tobago then have to do, and ironically, we discussed this at the show, because Ms. Edwards were very open and we discussed our ideas. One of the ideas we had is to provide a scholarship for like-minded people, because there's no continuity. When I am gone,
it will be a major lawsuit of Dougie.
I want to know that there is somebody to take on, there's somebody here that will take on the passion, not somebody that visits the island and likes the island. People that are born here to get rid of the fear, go into the ocean, our greatest natural resource, and study it. And THA has to find a way to push that. We discuss scholarship programs. We discuss scholarship programs to get like-minded people into professional dive masters, dive instructors, certified. Because if you want to study environmental science, marine biology, you know, if you want to go into the Coast Guard, you have to be a diver.
And I mean, and I just stick a pin right there because, you know, I mean, a lot of us don't realize how much money is involved with the dive industry in terms of like, I mean, and we're not just here talking about recreational scuba diving, but there's so much that can be made. And we love to complain about the outsiders coming here and making all the big money, but yet we do not channel, our students into that area.
We have to take the, I could understand from a non-diver point of view that they don't want to take the risk, okay? But we know people who are successful, there's no reward without some type of risk. And there's ways to mitigate the risk. I've been diving for over 30 years and I am the cowardest diver in the Commonwealth. I take no risk that I know. It is riskier for me to walk the streets of Scarborough than to go into the water. Okay? It is safe once you work within the rules and you have professional training and you have professionals on the island that will train you.
All right.
Okay? So if the kids are out there and they're like-minded, contact one of the shops. Contact one of the shops because we want to have locals back in the industry, not only as a tourism product, but for the industry. Because we are going to look at the ocean to develop Tobago. There's no doubt about it. We're going to look at the ocean.
There's lots of potential with the blue economy.
Yes. And you have to do it safely. So you have to have the proper training.
All right. All right, so viewers, there you have it. You know, I mean, if you have young children that have, you know, some likings to the sea and stuff, let them come and dive. I could testify that Dougie is perhaps one of the safest persons you could go out with. I mean, he's very gentle, very kind, very patient as well. And he would make sure that you are prepared as you're ready to go along. As like I said, I mean, this was my first dive, my first real dive in space. Yes, that first initial go, that was scary. But that's why you have people like Dougie And let's listen, like you said, when he goes, it's going to be a big loss.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to learn from him as much as we can, as well as develop our industry so that we ourselves can benefit. And of course, I mean, we need, yeah. Anyway, let's gonna leave it right there. All right, Dougie, thank you. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you this morning. Always enjoy it.
Invited me. Thank you very much.
All right, viewers, that's how we're gonna wrap this show this morning. And of course, before we go, I'm gonna say it again: do not litter. Folks, let's take care of our environment. Do not litter. Keep your trash with you until you find a bin and then you dispose of it there. And as much as possible, let's try to recycle. We have the recycling depot in Tobago. You know, let's help out the environment. All right, viewers, have a wonderful, safe, and productive day, and we'll see you again at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying Tobago.